Going live. Good morning, everyone. Let me share this out. I know it's early, but I'm going to share this out. Give me a minute. All right, let's see. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, we got that. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Vince. Welcome to the show. I can't believe I am finally back. It's been a week now, and I feel real. Well, I shouldn't say this. Uh, I gotta focus. This week has been a very, very interesting week. There was a medical scare. There was doctor's visits. There was a short stay in the hospital, and I'm not looking for sympathy or anything like that. It was also Valentine's Day, um, which that was fun. But it's like so much happened over the past couple of days, and I couldn't bring my attention to doing this. Not that I didn't want to do this. I mean, I really wanted to be here and read and discuss things, but energetically wise, health wise, I wasn't up to it. At one point, I didn't even have a voice, which my voice is still a little hoarse right now, but I am feeling better. And I'm like, you know something? I said I would come on Thursday. It is now Thursday. So the way I look at it is new beginning, new day, back into this. Because one of the things that I've always said about these shows, it's like I'm thirsty for the Lord. I'm hungry for the Lord. It's like I really want to read more and more. So I'm calling this episode Life Lessons because I will admit so much has happened over the past couple of days. And I could talk about just one topic, but I really want to like talk about many topics. So I'm just going to bring this as a stream of consciousness. I'm going to see exactly what comes out on my mind, how the flow of the conversation goes. And I think that's going to be my lessons for today. So the first thing is, for those of you who are concerned, basically I had it's a little confusing. I had some sort of virus along with some sort of allergic reaction, along with really bad swelling. On top of that, I had no voice, no energy, exhaustion. It was like my body was attacking me. Now, at one point, when I went to the hospital, they said it was neuropathy because they couldn't pinpoint what the problem was. They saw lots of problems. They saw the swelling. They saw the soft tissue injury. They saw the my blood pressure was through the roof. They had to get my blood pressure down. They saw symptoms. There was signs in my blood of an infection of this and that. But the problem was they couldn't identify what was wrong. And that gets very, very frustrating. It's like, okay, yeah, we know there's something wrong, but we just don't know what's wrong. So, of course, they released me because they got my blood pressure down, they got the swelling down. And it's one of those things, it's like, oh, if it happens again, just come back. But where it left me as an individual, it left me very vulnerable. It left me scared. It left me unknowing. I mean, one of the things that I kept saying to Chris is, I'm sorry. And he was like, why are you apologizing? And I'm like, because in my mind, I feel like you're going to be mad at me. And he was like so confused. He's like, why would I be mad at you? He's like, you're sick. He's like, I'm concerned about you. I want to know what's going on. I want to make you better. So why do you think I'm mad at you? And I realized I was comparing my past to him. And I got to stop doing that because I know my past is not my present. But he's like, I don't understand why you always think I'm going to hurt you or hit you or this. And I said to him, I says, it has become an irrational response. My body just instantly responds that if something is wrong, I'm going to get blamed for it. I'm going to get punished. I'm going to get beaten for it. Um, and because something was wrong, that was, and he's like, but you can't control being sick. It's not your fault. I says, well, that makes it even worse in my head, because if I cannot control the factors that are making me like this, then I'm powerless. And because I'm powerless, that makes me sorrowful. And because I'm sorrowful, I go into this panic mode. So either way, it wasn't helping my recovery process, so to speak. It wasn't helping my mind frame. Me going into these panic attacks because I'm afraid I'm a failure, or he's going to be mad at me, or he's going to hit me. I mean, that's just, that wasn't the proper mind frame. Um, Aside from that, it's also a waiting game. Going to the doctors, waiting in the waiting room, waiting in the I mean, I was in the hospital for like 7 o'clock in the morning till like 7 o'clock at night. I mean, it was like an all day affair. Um, so I'm happy that I'm back. As you can see, I'm feeling better. Swelling definitely went down. I mean, just to describe it, my neck and face swelled up so much that you couldn't even see this little ridge in the chin, because this just literally swelled up so bad. My arm, if I hold up one arm and the other one, you could clearly see that this arm was twice the size of this one, and it was only on the left side. So they really don't know what happened. They can't. I mean, I think what I have to do is I need to follow up with a specialist, something that specializes in possibly autoimmune or rheumatoid or something like that, because it definitely was some sort of flare up, and that's where I'm at now. So that's my story. I did want to talk about a couple of things. While I was in the hospital, ironically, this isn't a good thing, but I walked into the emergency room. It was a friend of mine in the emergency room, and both of us are like, "What are you doing here?" And it turns out we were both having a health scare. And I think it was important that we were both in the emergency room, because we were talking, we were catching up, we were telling about what things was going on. But I think what was important about that was the idea of praying, because we both prayed together. And I think it's important that people do pray together. Um, we both have different belief systems, but yet the two of us could come together and pray over our well being, pray for a quick recovery, pray to ensure our health and um, our stability. And it made me think, because a lot of times when I'm on these lives, the term that gets thrown around a lot is fake Christians, is fake this, fake that. And you know something? I mean, okay, I guess this is going to be bad. I don't say that I'm Christian. I really don't. Maybe at one point I did say I was Christian, simply because it's like, okay, lump me in that I believe in the Bible, I believe in Christ, I believe, lump me in with that. But I don't. I think now I have to take wisdom's advice. It's like, no, you don't have to say you're Christian. You're a believer. So yes, I'm absolutely a believer. And I almost want to say, why take that away from me? The fact that I do have individual beliefs, that I do have a, a connection, a relationship. There was one point I didn't have a relationship. There was a point that my relationship was non existent, that I turned my back, that I didn't believe any of this was true. But now I'm starting, I believe it. I mean, I came into this journey that this is the truth. And the more and more that I'm reading about this, the more that things are coming to light, the more experiences I'm having, I'm realizing how wrong I was forever walking away, forever turning my back on the one thing that I was raised at. So people probably do not like my methods. They don't like my style. They don't like my openness when it comes to embracing everything. And I mean, even yesterday, I'm able to sit down and pray with a friend, knowing that both of us are praying in different ways and in different respects. But you know something? Both of us prayed We both created that connection. We created that relationship with those we call God. And I thought it was a beautiful thing. And I'm hoping that everything is all right with her. I got to follow up with her as well. But I almost want to say, I would rather have, and I guess this is awful to say, I would rather have an atheist or somebody from a different religion or somebody who would be welcoming at my table and be open-minded, not to be converted, not to be, but who could sit at the table and say, you know something, we have our differences, we have our different beliefs, but you know something, I'm not going to hold that against you because your belief is different than mine. Because you know something, even though we're not on the same page on a religious aspect, doesn't mean we cannot be in a relationship or a connection with other things. And I almost want to say life should not revolve so much around labels. And I think that's what ends up happening is if you surround yourself with just a label without opening your perspectives to different points of view, to different philosophies, to different ways that people all come to the same conclusion, I almost feel like you're pushing yourself and ostracizing yourself away from people. We talk about People talk about fake Christians all the time. And I often ask, what makes them so fake? Why? Because maybe they're hypocritical. They say one thing just for the attention or the image. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, it is hypocritical. You go to church, you have this image. Good morning, Mia, Monster Mia. Welcome to the show. It could be hypocritical. You go to church, you get dressed up, you be social, and then the next thing you know, after church, you rip off your clothes and you're gambling or drinking or smoking, or you know what I mean? I mean, that itself could be hypocrisy. Good morning, Paige. Or you go to church and you're filled with hate. Like there's, I want to say this, your Karen moments. It's like you go to church and you teach love thy neighbor as yourself, but then the next minute you're going up for Starbucks and you're screaming at the cashier because she got the name of your latte wrong or something like that. Oh, Astro, thank you so much. I'm feeling much better. This is my first day back in a week. It's been a week. Had a couple of health scares, but I'm feeling much better. Pretty much they don't know what was going on. They're Oh, Owen, what a beautiful artwork that you're doing. Let's get rid of that artwork. Why am I having issues? There we go. As if that's the funniest thing. It's like, oh wow, I could draw something. Yeah, beautiful, Owen. Thank goodness. Oh, you've been thinking about me. I appreciate. Of course, you can help me. I'll add you as a moderator. That would actually help me out a great deal. The only thing I say is don't ban them, just mute them. That's the only thing. Yeah, don't press ban, just press mute. Mute will mute them for the entire show. So yeah, but give them a chance if it actually is a question. Like if it's a genuine question, even if it's a bad question, um, give them a chance. If it's something as stupid, okay, appreciate that. Um, but in the idea of like the fake Christians. And I use that term because I don't know what I'm talking about, but I guess where it's at is people will judge everybody. It's human nature. We all judge. Not only do we all judge, we also automatically separate ourselves into little clusters. We really do. And I mean, it goes back to this thing. So naturally, we separate ourselves into different clusters. And I want to say, why can't we separate ourselves into little clusters, but also share the commonalities together? And I think that's where it becomes a two-sided thing. And when I say two-way street, because it's one thing for me to invite people and say, hey, sit down at my table no matter what your thoughts are, what your belief systems are. But the reciprocal has to be that they have to be open-minded as well. That they have to be like, okay, you know something? I am going to sit at this table. We are going to find a commonality. We are going to discuss. But that's just it. There will be people that will come and sit at your table and they will be like, well, you're not Christian. You don't believe in this. Or I'm an atheist. There's no such thing as God. So they they don't sit at the table in order to unify and bring together. They will purposely sit at the table in order to continue the divide. And I almost want to say that is the secret to society. If we could just open our eyes, the secret to society is there is power in numbers. There really is. There's power in numbers. And if we can unify for a same cause, even if we have different beliefs under that cause, it could change the world completely. And I'll tell you, not to, oh, thank you. That's so true. I appreciate that. And thank you, Mandy. Um, I don't want to bring up this conversation, but yet I do want to bring up this conversation because it's sort of scaring me. And it has to do with, please forgive me for bringing this up, has to do with the files. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's and the reason I want to bring up the files is because the stuff that's in there is so horrific. But yet, as a society, we're talking about it, we're bringing it attention to it. There may be anger and outrage, but nobody's doing anything about it. Nothing's being done. There's no, I mean, our society will go to war over one topic instead of going to war with something that affects us all. And I find that very, very fascinating. It is getting scary. And there is this, for if you believe in conspiracy theories, there's this universal code of good and evil that evil needs to show all its cards. That evil needs to tell exactly what it's doing. It's like this weird universal law that as long as evil shows its cards and people accept it, then they're going to continue to do it because it's already been accepted as normal everyday behavior. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening right now because it's coming out. It's not giving you the option to mute. Let me see something. Hold on. That's weird. Um, yeah, it says you can. I've got it set up that you could. I was thinking about making stupid signs and walking around your town. What kind of signs? Maybe that might be the case. Um, you could try that, see if that works. I'm not too sure why that would or not. But it's like we watch we watch movies. And I've always said this when it comes to movies. Like I have this like really weird theory. I'm like, what if movies really are true stories, but just talking about different dimensions or different past lives or different histories or something like that. And when we watch these fictionalized accounts, we're accepting the very thing that we are seeing on TV because we're scoffing it off that it's, hey, it's fiction. Yes, I think movies are predictive programming. Absolutely. And that's what they're doing. They're letting us divide each other. That's correct, Mandy. And I want to bring it on a smaller scale because even within the Christian community, and I have to stop using the word Christian. The only reason I use the word Christian, and please forgive me because I'm stereotyping, I use the word Christian because there are two types of Christians. There are the good ones who leave me alone. But then there are the other ones who are so set in their ways and so hypocritical that they'll be the first ones to point out how I'm a bad influence, how I'm going to hell, how I don't believe, how I'm just spewing lies. So I'm not trying to lump everybody in. I'm really not. But it's funny how the most vocal ones are the ones who claim to be the most religious ones. I mean, the most vocal ones are the ones who will literally, and we see it all the time. We see it in this live. I mean, I'm not pointing names or anything like that, but I've had people come in that says, "I've had 35 years experience reading the Bible. You can't teach." Or I had people like, "My husband is this," or I've had people say, like, and I mean, I'm not trying to pinpoint, and it's not just one. I mean, I've had at least 5 wives of pastor husbands that because their husband is a pastor makes them an expert in religion. And it just, and I'm like, I've been told I'm going to hell many times. They're hypocrite. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, I would much rather have somebody of any faith, any belief. I mean, people often wonder, why do I have Muslims that come into this chat? I do have Muslims that come into this chat because you know something? Yes, they show a different perspective. Yes, they believe in Allah. But you know what they do? They sit down and they'll be like, okay, Christianity is saying this. Muslim says this. Now let's find the commonality. They don't do it in a hateful way. They don't do it in a pointing finger, but yet immediately it's it's those Christians that will point to them and saying, "Well, your religion is false. You're going to hell. You're not going to." You know what I mean? And it sort of bothers me when they do that. Sorry. Okay, I've been told I'm going to hell many times there. It's very hard even to try to talk about anything like this, but it is, Mandy. And you know what? When I start talking about this, it invites the trolls, it invites argument, and that's one of the reasons why usually the first hour or so of my show, I leave it as an open monologue. I allow people to say whatever they want to say. Then after that, I go into a prayer and then I start reading the Bible. I figured today might be either a long monologue or a short, simply because I haven't been on for a week. This is my first day back in a week, so I figured my mind is going to be all over the place. Um, I have no idea what you're talking about, Katie. No Christian should ever condemn. That's already a sin in itself. And that's a good point. It is a sin within itself. But yet it's like, it's almost like human nature. It's an innate nature that of condemnation. Yeah, let's just hold let's all freaking talk. I love it. Oh, Matt says I have a tattoo based on Psalms 82. Do you care to read it? I, I please feel free to put it in the chat. I just have a simple rule. I don't go ahead because I'm still new to my reading. Mandy says you just started reading Revelations, which, yeah, I almost want to say Revelations, the ends of times now. I almost, the big question I have about Revelations, and it's interesting, is Revelations the future, or do Revelations already happen and this is indeed a history book? That's the one question I have. I won't know until I get there. Sorry, the cats are very they're very close today. I gotta, not that I'm trying to toss them down. But yeah, that's a question that I have, Mandy. Did Revelations already actually happen? Because, all right, there is the idea, conspiracy theory wise, that we go through resets and that our history has been lied to us. And just looking from an outside perspective, some of it makes sense because it's like, all right, how come we have technology in buildings that we can't recreate now? How come only in the last 100 years we've had all these technological advances and supposedly we've been living on horse drawn carriages for the past 1,000 years? How come wars and fires and things happen? How come there's so many things unexplained? Oh, my kitties are adorable. Thank you. Psalm 37 is very good as well. I fell asleep and woke up to that one playing and was like, yes. Um, but there's so many there's so many holes in our history. And remember, history is always made by the winners. History is the one that always, which I mean, dare I say this, people, even the Bible, how much of this book has truly been changed over the years? We see it in a 10-year period. If I pull out a King James version, which mine is from 1977, and then just go to 1980 and compare it line by line, already there's going to be words that are different. There'll be sentences. So even our own Bible, how much has been changed? When I read other versions, even the other versions are different. I've got this parallel Bible that I always refer to when something gets a little confusing. Even with the parallel Bible, all four are different changes. So it could definitely change the meaning of what is happening. And if we can't even have a universal guide on what it's trying to say, how are we ever going to agree on what the meaning of it is? So that in itself makes it interesting. But yeah, definitely, I mean, read Revelations. I'm still going slow. People keep saying to me, "Oh, you should skip to the New Testament, forget the Old Testament." And it's funny because simultaneously, as I'm reading this, we're watching Chosen and we're watching House of David, which we're already up to season 2 on House of David. It's interesting because it's this what I'm reading right now, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I know my mind is all over the place. But in regards to this show and what I was saying in regards to the files, is that if we were to come together as a collective, as a group, and push away our religious differences, our color differences, our demographic differences, push away all those different differences and come together with the same goal, we could probably change this world completely. You have a Bible from 1960 and one from 1973, your grandmother's, and I bet they're both completely different. Even if they're the same type, I guarantee they're both going to be completely different. One of the books I have to start reading, yeah, they are. I mean, there's going to be words. One of the things I find funny in my book, when the word is supposed to, in the modern days, the word is ox. So when they're talking about a specific animal, they're going to call it an ox. In my Bible, they call it a unicorn. So I thought biblical unicorn was actually rhinoceros, but modern day versions change the word unicorn to an ox. And an ox is definitely not a rhinoceros. So it's kind of interesting when I look at things like that. But yeah, whenever I bring the word unicorn up, modern day versions will change the word to ox. Uh, I do have a 1955 Freemasons Bible. Now I keep that up on the shelf. I think I'm going to start doing videos on the beginning of it because even before the Bible starts, there's like this much of Freemasons history, and some of it is just fascinating. So I think for people who just like history, for me to read that for old books, that'll be interesting. Um, all right, so I guess I don't know. I know I was all over the place. I really am all over the place this morning, which you guys have to forgive me. I mean, health wise, I'm feeling 100% better. I'm still very tired. I'm still very winded. Um, I have, you know what it is, and this is where the health scare is. I have to go for further study because they're thinking possibly I have some sort of autoimmune, like lupus or something like that. And the thing is, why it's taking so long is they don't have a definitive test to test for that. And aside from that, I have never had any type of issues like this before. So whatever's going on with me is coming out of nowhere. There's no family history, there's no personal history, there's nothing that's happening. And the one that has every president pick a thing about their, oh yeah, that's what I have in the 1955. The only thing is it's a Freemasons Bible. So it goes through all the presidents and stuff, the ones who were the Freemasons. So you had a good friend that had, and see, here's the thing: I don't even know if it's lupus or not. God, you know what, Zeke? I often question that. Did God invent lupus, or was lupus the byproduct of evil? Because we already know evil has powers. Evil has tries to mimic God. Evil creates things. Man creates things too. So I often wonder in the good versus evil, is it that evil creates things in order to destroy the good that God does? So that's something to think of. But as far as, like I said, I mean, I had a really bad flare up. Everything swelled up really bad. Um, they called it neuropathy. And the only way I could describe it, because I was in the hospital and I said to them, I says, it feels like I'm being microwaved, which is interesting. The fact that we just had the eclipse, because then I was going like crazy. I said, Chris, could this be in alignment with the eclipse? And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know. But I says, I feel like, for lack of better terms, my entire body is getting microwaved with invisible electric waves. And he's like, okay, you're far fetched. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but obviously something was going on. And when I said that about that, the doctor's like, well, that's nerves. Your nerves are firing. That's why it feels like the inflammation and stuff like that. So I'm glad I found you. I think about this. Oh yeah, Mandy, I always put in conspiracy theories and mixture because I find it interesting. My whole life, I always thought conspiracy theorists were atheists, and now that I'm delving into rabbit holes, I can't believe conspiracy theorists are actually really religious and proving that the Bible is real. So I'm usually on every day. This is the first time I'm back after a week because I had a slight health scare this week. So I haven't been on for a week, but normally I'm on every day from like 10, 10 a.m. Central to about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Lupus is a scientific condition. Okay. Cuckoo, cuckoo. My husband's name is Chris. I hope you find. I hope so too. I have to go to a specialist, but when it comes to getting insurance and referrals, it's a waiting game. I mean, I'm already seeing a neurologist, and one of the things my neurologist has me trying to get approved for is they want to do a brain scan because they think possibly I might have had a minor stroke. And that's one of the things she wants to rule out. What she says, don't be scared. She says, I just want to do it to rule it out, because she said some of the symptoms that I'm having coincides with things that may have happened. So that's why she's a little concerned. And yeah, referrals take forever. I'm in Texas, and I'm in an area of Texas that's very there's not that much medical help. So it's like if I really want to go and get medical help, I have to either drive 3 hours to Dallas or drive up to Oklahoma. So it's like there's it's hard sometimes to find a doctor. My husband was having what seemed like mini seizures. They did so many, and it ended up being, I gotta see what it ended up being, but a B12 deficiency. Interesting you say that, because I have multiple deficiencies. I have a B12 deficiency, I have a vitamin D deficiency, and I have a folic acid deficiency. So up until recently, I started taking all three of those as a supplement, which is why it's very important right now, mind, body, spirit. I'm trying to align everything. This is my spiritual portion. My health is my body portion. My mind is, I'm trying to let go of the past and forgive myself and get out of my trauma bond life, if that makes sense. So this is a whole um it's a whole self-discovery thing, journey thing that I'm going through. It was messing him up so bad they thought he had been. Well, that's what they want to rule out, because there was a point about 10 years ago I had what was known as Bell's palsy, And it comes, not that it comes back, but you can see when I get sick, because what happens was with the Bell's palsy, my eye, this eye drooped down, my cheek drooped down, and my whole face was like, oh, like that. And I was like that for a couple of weeks. And when I get sick, one of the first things that happens is this eye gets very, very weak, and my cheek gets so. And Bell's palsy is actually a viral infection that just makes your whole face droop down. So because I have a history of that, um, they're just concerned. So, and right now, I mean, I already have the referral for it. So I finally got the referral approval from the insurance company. Now it's finding a place that has an opening for me to get this MRI, because the other thing is I'm a big person. I can't use the normal MRI machines. I have to use a open MRI, and the waiting list for that is ridiculous. At least my doctor was aware of that, because she says to me, she says, "Have you ever had an MRI?" I says, "Yes," and I got stuck in the machine, which that was scary. I literally got stuck in the machine. She says, "Okay, you have the choices. The open MRIs are here, here, here." So we made the decision. Now it's up to them to decide when they have an opening. Um, the hardest person to forgive is Fallon, and welcome to the show, Fallon. Absolutely, the hardest person to forgive is ourselves, and that was one thing I started off the show where, because I was sick, I kept saying to Chris, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and I was ending up getting panic attacks because I was so fearful that because I was sick that he would either hurt me or leave me. And he actually got a little angry with that, which, because he got angry, it exaggerated my and I tried to explain to him, I'm like, you have to realize this is an it's involuntary response. When I used to be sick, I would get punished or beaten for being sick. The fact is that now that I'm sick and you're actually caring about me, you're worried about me, you want me to get better. I'm like, that is a completely different mindset that I'm not used to. Because he kept saying, "Why do you keep saying you're sorry? You're sorry?" It's like I couldn't get that word out of my head. All I kept doing was apologizing, but I'm sorry. So he's like, "You gotta stop saying that." I got arrested with a woman, this woman Paula. The next day, her face was like that. They said Bell's palsy. Yeah, that's what happened. It droops down. They said, interesting. I got bit by a spider and I went into anaphylactic shock. Maybe it might have been related, but I don't know if you probably could see. There's this little dot right here. That's where I got bit, because a spider landed on my head. This happened to be at work when I was working at Walmart. It landed on my head and my forehead blew up. I went into anaphylactic shock, I had to go to get rushed to the hospital. And when that happened, it was like my life changed. I got very tired. It was hard for me to work. I got exhausted. I mean, that really did a number on when it happened. Thank goodness all I have is this little bump right here. I mean, it could have been really, really bad, but I was out on disability for quite some time after that because of what happened. But then I bounced back and everything was fine. So I'm sorry to hear. I'm not used to be treated well either. And that's the key thing, is apologizing all the time. Oh, hello, Constance Lopez. Good morning. Welcome to the show. I'm running a double stream, so I didn't see you come in. I do a stream on YouTube as well. So we just had somebody on YouTube come in. You see, you apologize all the time. I'm guilty of that too. I apologize all the time because it's our own personal mindset and demons. It really is. It's the fact that we have been trained to take the blame of everything. We've been trained that we need to diffuse the situation. We need to make everything calm. We need to make it so, by taking the responsibility and saying, well, I'm sorry, I want to make things better, I want to do this, it creates this endless cycle, and it's something that's very, very hard to break. You are valuable intrinsically, no matter what your condition. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's crazy. Not just physical, but trauma can last too. Absolutely can. Why do people mistreat others who shine the brightest? Good question, Fallon, and I have an answer. And this ties into back to what we were talking about fake Christians earlier. Um, Part of it is jealousy. The other part of it is when you see somebody who has joy, happiness, peace, like just this wonderful aura. A lot of times people don't want to see that aura. They don't want to see people shining. They rather bring them down. A glow, exactly. There's a glow with them. They rather bring them down because why should that person have a glow? Why should that person be happy when I myself am not happy? So to make me feel better, let's A, try to ruin that glow. And that's why you see people come in derailing the conversation all the time because they don't like that. B, it could be demons. Demons are like, no, that's a good thing. They're doing a good thing. Let's infiltrate it and bring them down and harvest the energy and that glow for ourselves. So that could be the demonic end. It could be jealousy. I mean, but if you think about it, it's all this negativity that tries to eat away and consume that happiness, that glow. And I mean, I've said this before, and people get upset when I say this, is that I don't care what God you serve. If serving Allah brings that glow to your life, if serving Buddha brings that glow to your life, and you are happy, you are at peace, you are at joy, and it makes you different than what you were, then what difference should it be what God you serve? What you're saying is true, but I think it's deeper. A lot of people don't realize God's light is in them. And I agree with that, Fallon. And like I said, for people, God can be interpreted differently. Yes, it is a Bible I have open. We're going to be starting Samuel chapter 10, 1 Samuel chapter 10. But right now, this is the monologue thing. So we're just talking about the monologue part. But we'll get to it in a few minutes. But yeah, it's God's light. So I almost want to say, should we as individuals be so condemning and so judgmental if somebody uses God's light but defines God differently from than how we do it? Because immediately Christians will say, well, that's not God. If you believe in that, that's not God, so you're going to hell. But I say, okay, if they sincerely believe that whatever they believe in is their God, is their higher power, and it's truly bringing power to them and enriching their lives, then do I have any right to condemn them for what it is that they believe in? Aw, Constance says she's looking at my cats. Constance can actually see a bigger perspective. So I have three cats. I'm just going to show you. There's right up there underneath the fairy. That's Hope. And then Pikachu is right there. And Treasure is right there at the window. But thank you, Constance. Hold on. Let me go back. Okay, so yes, so the Bible I have is a 1977 King James, and we're going to read Samuel 10 in a few minutes. You have no idea how happy I found you today. I never stay on long. Oh, thank you, Mandy. And like I said, my lives go on really long. Sometimes they can be heated. Sometimes they're reflective. I think today is more of a reflective. And like I said, this is my first show in over a week because, like I said, I had a health crisis that I didn't have the strength to come on and sit here and talk. And at one point, I didn't even have a voice to begin with. My neck was so swollen that it closed up my vocal cords, and I had no voice. Absolute God can be anywhere, and I agree, Fallon, anywhere. And like I said, just because I call God God or Jesus or Lord, should it really matter if somebody calls him Allah or Buddha or You know what I mean? And I know that's debatable and that's people don't agree with that, but that's how I look at it. The Bible does not condone worshiping other gods. You have to believe in Yeshua. And you're right, it doesn't condone in worshiping other gods. But the fact is, there are other gods. And even before we even look at the children of Israel, because if you think about this, even before the children of Israel, who was God? Who were they worshiping? What were they worshiping? And I mean, that's something that people don't often understand or think about. I mean, even when we go back to Noah, Noah was visited by God, but there was no established religion at that point in terms of God. There was no established practice, or at least we don't know what the established practice is, because according to the Bible, the established practice doesn't come in until the children of Israel, where he lays out the commandments. So, what was going on between Adam and Eve and the children of Israel that created this? Oh, Constance, thank you so much. Constance gave me a gift. I appreciate that. Gave me a super chat. Um, Mandy, perception is reality. I say that so many times, and I agree with that 100%. Perception is reality. God condemns them. We don't have to. And yeah, you're right. God condemns them. But why do people take it upon themselves to act like God and condemn people? That's where I have trouble because, like I said, I will invite anybody at my table. You could sit down, be at my table, but the reciprocal nature is if you're going to sit at my table, then agree to disagree. We might have differences in points of view, but it's not going to be you're sitting at my table in order to fight and disrupt what's going on. So people will come in to point and condemn and say, well, you're going to hell. You believe in this. You're a female. You're fat. I mean, there's so many things that people do that will sit and it's like, leave it up to God. My eternal soul is in God's hands. Other eternal souls could be in their God's hands. But whatever the actual God of the universe or the God of creation or everything, that's where our soul is going to ultimately lie. And it's up to us as an individual to align with who we believe that should be. Um, yes, because that's not his name. I agree. Buddha isn't God. Okay. They're completely different gods. The Bible says there's only one. Gods, they are fallen angels. Most form of Buddhism, Soka Gaya Chan, teach Buddha is just yeah, Buddha is Siddhartha Gautama. That's his original name. He was nothing more than a man who received enlightenment. But I mean, I'm just giving examples. There is actually a god. Hold on. Where's my list? I have my list. Hold on 1 second. I just gotta pull it up. Give me one moment. Dreamy says gods are fallen angels. It's not my baby. Okay. Come on. Well, I'm waiting for my computer to load up. Most form. Okay, right. Buddha is just a person. Okay. All right. I'm just waiting for my computer to load up. There was something I wanted to look up because it has to do with a it was something that somebody sent me, and I just want to get the accuracy on it. Um, okay. All right. Whatever. I was looking something up, but it's not accurate, so that's okay. Uh, just like in Christianity, a few sects began deification of Buddha, pure line Buddhism. And I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to just point out Buddha. We can talk about any religion, but one of the things that I've said during this live as just an interesting question is, what if all religions actually do lead back to the same creator, but because of God punishing us with the Tower of Babel, where he says, let's create confusion and let's create languages. So when he separated everyone by languages, because that's where, according to the Bible, languages came from. It came from a punishment for building the Tower of Babel because they were trying to reach heaven. Let's create confusion. Let's create languages. So, what if all these religions are merely the same story, but just told from a different perspective, a different belief, because everybody was scattered about with different languages? So, I look a little like Amberlynn Reed. I have no idea who Amberlynn Reed is. So, see, now I got to look this up. Am I going to be afraid of who Amberlynn Reed is? Let's see who Amberlynn Reed is. I'm just curious. Uh, oh, is that Honey Boo Boo? Okay, so you're making fun of me that I look like Amberlynn Reed. Okay, you know something? I don't care. You're not the first one, but I honestly had no idea who Amberlynn Reed is. So whatever. Actually, she's not Honey Boo Boo, but I thought it was. It looks like, so she's a YouTube star. Okay, fine. I look like Amberlynn Reed. If that's what you think I look like, I don't care. Different people practice different religions, some with pure intentions, some not. Yes, you were just talking about this. That makes sense. Hello, Lawrence. Welcome. Shalom. Glory be to God. People used to tell me all the time I look like Natalie Wood. I had to look her up. She was the one that was killed by her husband, right? I think. Oh. You look like a sister I never had. I think you're adorable. This came up in oh, what was it? Somebody said I either look like the old Ricky Lake or I look like McCarthy. I can't think of her name. The comedian something McCarthy, or there was somebody else that I looked up. Hi Nicole, welcome back. I should say well I'm back, but yes, yeah Jenny. Wait, not Jenny. Melissa McCarthy. That's it. Yeah, Jenny McCarthy is different one. Melissa McCarthy. I don't honestly. I don't care. I do feel like we all have twins. I really do. I mean, I think one of the creepiest twins is if you ever take Will Ferrell and Chad from Red Hot Chili Peppers and put them side by side. That one is like really. I mean, I want to say they're like either twins or they're clones of each other. Oh, you have an actual identity. Now I'm curious, Mandy. Do you look completely alike, or do you not like? Do you both have complete differences? Twins, I think, are amazing, particularly when they're aligned. Like they say the same thing, they answer the same way. I think that's funny with the twins. But I was once told, if you believe in psychics, because I've had quite a number of psychic readings, but one thing that they constantly say is that you're a twin. You're a twin. Now it just so happens I do fall into the sign of twins. I'm Gemini, so that's where I get the twin. But they're like, no, you should have been a twin. So it makes me wonder. And I even said to my mom, I'm like, be honest with me. Did I have a twin? Like, were you carrying twins? And she's like, no, it was just you. I said, she says it was a dangerous pregnancy. She's like, but it was just you. I'm like, okay. You have an actual twin. People think we look exactly the same. She lives 2 minutes down the road, and everyone in this town constantly thinks we're each other. Yeah, you both will get each other confused. And I mean, that's what it is. Um, people will see it and not realize the differences unless they know you personally. I have to admit, I do have a problem when it comes to facial recognition. And there's a specific name for it. I can't think of it. But to me, and it's not trying to be, to me, everybody looks like, I cannot tell differences with people sometimes. So one of the worst questions that people could ask me is if they change something about themselves and they come up to me and they're like, "Well, what do you think?" I'll look at them and be like, "What do you think about what?" And they're like, "Well, what do you?" And it's like, I won't notice if somebody changes their hair color or changes their style or changes something. I can't, I don't notice it. And people think that it's me not paying attention. No, literally, to me, a person is frozen in their image, and any changes that they make, they're still that image. So, uh, people think we look, she lives 2 minutes. They constantly think we each other. Some people don't believe me when I say I have a twin and I'm not her. She's Robin, I'm Amanda. See, that's hard though growing up, particularly if you're both in the same class or anything like that. I'm physically sensing you practice tarot, but had a change of heart. Fallon, you're absolutely right. I used to read tarot cards all the time. In fact, we had this discussion a while back, but I talked about how I used to do readings all the time. I binded my cards after a very, very specific reading. What happened was I gave a reading to somebody, and when you give a reading to somebody, you don't really tell them. I mean, it's an unspoken. You don't tell them negative things. And if a reading does come up negative, you spin it around to make it positive. But in this case, I had such a negative reading from this person, and the negative reading said, "You're sick and you don't know. You're going to need to go to the hospital." What I didn't realize is I wasn't giving that reading to the person. I was giving a reading to myself, because I ended up going to the hospital 3 days later and almost died. So I binded my cards, and what's interesting is I still have those cards completely binded, and people are telling me that I need to throw them in the fire or something like that, to destroy them. I bound them, haven't opened them up since, and I have no plans on opening them up. But I did start taking up reading not too long ago, a couple of years ago, where I started doing readings again, and I realized I can't. So, yes, I do believe sometimes in tarot cards, but I'm no longer practicing that. You need to mail out those. Okay, you're laughing at me. Yes, I have priority boxes. I do use them as storage. I am a reseller, so you guys could probably laugh. I probably shouldn't have put it, but what I do is I store it in there and then I recycle those boxes. So yes, I'm a big but you say, but believe me, you could say this. I need to mail out those boxes. They send. I mean, okay, yeah, you could say they're not storage boxes; they're mailing boxes. With the amount of boxes that I mail out and I recycle and do this, so yeah, you complain about that, but that's how I do my storage and recycling. And I probably should put those back, but I ended up selling a couple of items, and I just had to recycle them a little bit. Mandy's like, I do that too. We used to. Oh, you used to switch classes in elementary school. Oh, Dorian, that's theft. Okay, you know something? I'm a thief. I steal free boxes that are given to me. That's theft. I love it. I steal free boxes that are given to me. I used a fake psychic for over 10 years. I'm curious if you don't mind. Oh, Constance says we have a twin out there. We all have a twin. I believe that too. Everybody has a twin out there. I'm curious about when you say fake psychic, and obviously if you use them for 10 years, you did feel a connection. Did they ever say something accurate, or did they ever say something that made you say, okay, I'm not going to believe in this? I never know about tarot. My mother reads them. Well, I will say this. I had a psychic tell me something that was so ridiculously funny. I mean, I had to crack up laughing because I stopped in my tracks and I'm like, you're kidding me, right? And this was their prophecy. And there's no way I can spin this because it was so accurate. I mean, it wasn't accurate, but it was so precise that I just cracked up laughing. And what they said to me is within 3 years, obviously this didn't happen, but within 3 years, I was going to move to Florida and open up a tuxedo shop and sew tuxedos. First of all, I have no desire to sew. I cannot sew for my life. Second of all, Florida, I can't live in Florida because I'm allergic to palm trees and I get very sick when I go to Florida. So, Florida, I know I have no desire to go to Florida. But I'm going to open up a tuxedo shop in Florida sewing tuxedos. Like, I wanted to say, what kind of crackhead thing? Because that was just so beyond stupid for me. Like, I mean, I don't know what she was thinking, even telling me that. So Nicole says that was well, yeah, that was scary about the yeah. I have those same boxes everywhere too. They give them for free. I mean, I order them. I'll be honest. I order them by the hundreds, and I mail out many packages. So when I mail out packages, so just because I use a few of them, it's not theft. Oh, I'm stealing from the post office because they got boxes. I got to tell them free from Poshmark. Exactly. That's what ends up happening. You don't do that anymore. The That didn't happen. Yeah, it did. The opening up the tuxedo shop did not happen. I was the one doing the reading, the palms, numerologies. Oh, you were the one. Okay, I thought you meant somebody else was doing it. I'm a MAGA Republican. You know what? Okay, Chicana. I have to say, I like Chicano. She comes in, or he, whatever, comes in, spews all this hate about MAGA, which is kind of funny. So who cares if I'm a MAGA Republican? But you know something? It doesn't matter. I mean, I almost want to say, just think about what you're saying. Wouldn't you want to make America great again? I mean, who doesn't want to make America great? Like, obviously, I mean, I often wonder about political craziness. So yes, there's Republican, there's Democrat. I almost want to say, why is there just Republican and Democrat? There should be so much more. But we're on a two-party system, so fine. It's a two-party system. One party is saying, make America great again. You know something? I think that's a great value. Let's make America great. The other party is too busy saying, well, you're a MAGA Republican, you're this, you're that. So I'm like, okay, if you don't want to make America great, then what do you want to do? You want to make it burn to the ground and destroy and just put everything on fire? I mean, lead reading. Only Republicans voted for the inhumane treatment of God's children. You can't support the administration and call yourself Chicano. I will say this: only Republicans voted for the inhumane treatment of God's children. Guess what? Read up the history about Democrats and the establishment of a three-letter hate group that starts with the letter K. Little history about that. Okay? So maybe you can decide on that one. So who started the three-letter group that starts with a K? Um, Welcome to the show. No, exactly. No political talk. Postmarker. Only Republicans voted for it. Thank you, Constance, and thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Only Republicans voted for the God's chickens. What? Did it say chickens and I said children? I don't know what it's. Oh, the tuxedo shop. Maybe that person was reading themselves. I have no idea. But there's no way I'm opening up a tuxedo shop. Like, to me, that's just the craziest thing I've ever heard. That is why it's so hard to talk to anybody. They get butthurt. Absolutely. You realize, oh, of course they're doing it on purpose. We were talking about that earlier. They want to disrupt the aura of what's going on. They don't want people to smile or be happy or have joy, because generally the people who are pointing fingers and saying these hateful things are the one that's filled with the blackness and hate within. That's how I look at it. So the people who are most angry at others are more so angry with themselves, and they're projecting their anger onto others. They're trying to make us fight. That's what they try to do. Absolutely. That's hilarious. We love TikTok Shop. What's on TikTok Shop? Or did I miss something? I don't know. And people are just falling in line. Oh, thank you, Nicole. You sent me an awesome. Yeah. I have to admit, I do like TikTok Shop. There's certain things that I buy that I can't resist, and then there's certain things I want to buy that are just way too much money as far as shipping. And I'm like, oh, my puzzle came up. So you know something that's probably not liking what I'm saying. I noticed something interesting. When the puzzle comes up, is usually when we get moderated. Hmm. It's a little interesting trend. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the green whether it does it. You got a few things off of there, and me too. I mean, I've gotten some great things. I, I will admit, off of TikTok Shop, I did buy the probiotic gummies that they advertise for women. I actually have to say, they work. Like I was really, really surprised. It tastes good. It works. And then also, I ended up getting the doctor. I forgot the name of it, but it's the blackhead removal. That works too. I was shocked because Chris has really, really deep pores. And when he uses it, it clears up his nose completely. So I've been using it as well, and I feel it. So I've done the TikTok shop with that. I've done that. We did buy a pair of steel toe shoes for Chris for work. He loved them. So yeah, there's some. I mean, and there's so many things on TikTok shop. It's not just the one thing. You bought the oregano oil capsules and it brought my husband's red blood cell. Okay, wait. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, was he anemic that he had low red blood cell count, or was it a good thing? Oh, it was a good thing. Okay, just wanted to make sure. The Republican and Democrat chickens from TikTok shop are great. Oh, is that what you were talking about? The chickens? It was good. They couldn't figure out why he was so low. Well, I'm getting something new that I just picked up today. Because I definitely want to try it. Part of my problem is a lot of the symptoms that I'm experience because I am having, like I said, swelling, things that look like autoimmune. And I'm reading and doing research that a lot of the autoimmune has to do with parasites, yeast. I have a very, very high yeast and candida issue. So that's why I started taking the probiotics, which it's helping, but it's not fixing the issue. So I'm going to start the new mushroom coffee, and I just ordered it today. So it's probably going to take a week for it to come in. But I want to see if that works because I'm wondering if that's why I have all these deficiencies. I mean, we're talking about I have a B12 deficiency, a D deficiency, folic acid deficiency. I have all these deficiencies, and it's no matter what supplements I take, what it's not, I keep having a deficiency. And it's making, and I know I have a weight issue. The weight just will not go down. Whether I exercise, whether I fast, whether I eat healthy, I'm actually doing a keto low carb diet now. And there's pluses and minuses, but nothing is helping. So it's oregano oil with black seed and carvedilol. I don't know what that is. My sister man was having major swelling issues. After like a year, he found out he has Motos. Hashimoto's. What is Hashimoto's? I know that spells. It's so great for your immune and helps you absorb new. I've never heard of that. Hashimoto's. You said you're spelling it wrong. Hashimoto. Okay, Hashimoto's. I got it. Disease. What is that? Let me see. It's an autoimmune disorder that affects the thyroid gland and causes hypothyroidism. That's the one thing they keep checking me for is my thyroid. I don't have any thyroid issues, but I do have swelling in the neck. They found they found growths right here. You can literally see the growth. So there's one growth right here, and I have another one on this side, but my thyroid is fine. Um, he was in the hospital over and over. Hashimoto was actually called, which is funny because I have a hunchback, and apparently right now I have some sort of autoimmune disorder. They just don't know what it is. It hasn't been pinpointed yet. And it's a little frustrating with all the symptoms I'm having. So I but as far as my thyroid, I don't have problems with my thyroid. That's the number one thing that they keep checking. It's like, no, that's not what the issue is. But it is frustrating not knowing what it is. And it's like it and it's frustrating because people are like, oh, all you need to do is diet and exercise. Don't you think I am dieting and exercising? And the problem is my weight going down? No. I mean, it's like even with Chris could eat this huge meal and not gain a single pound. He's a toothpick, he's a twig. Where me, on the other hand, I could eat a third of what he's eating, tiny, and I just put on the poundage no matter what I eat. I put on the swelling. Like I could have a very tiny meal and I'll swell up completely. So I'm not too sure what it is. God will take care of you, Mel. I went 3 years before they figured out you had grave disease, thyroid. There's not a person on the planet that can't lose weight on a caloric deficit. You know something? I want to say this, Wicked, and a lot of people say that. They really, really do. They will say, oh, you can lose weight. You also have to remember a couple of things. One, easier said than done. Two, not that I'm making excuses, but medical issues can. Like me, I can't go and run a mile run. I can't. I would have to start off slow. For me, I would have to walk up and down a block slowly, back and forth. I can't go to the gym and immediately jump on a bicycle and run 10 miles and cycle 10 miles. No, because if that's the case, then I'll be in bed for the next 5 days because I overexerted myself. So, yes, when I exercise slowly. I exercise what my body is. And as I do it, just because I can't do something today does not mean I can't do it in the future. It's just I have to be aware of what my personal limitations are. And I think the amazing thing is, who's to say I haven't already lost weight? Because think about this. You're seeing me now, which you're still saying, well, look how fat she is. Look at this and that. How do you know that I didn't already lose 50 pounds, 60 pounds? You don't know. You're only seeing me as I am. So, you know something? I am going to continue with my journey with my mind, my body, and my spirit. I am going to continue doing the necessary things I need to do at the pace that I need to go. Um, my Chris is a tiny freaking man too. I feel like a monster next to him. Yeah, Chris is a twig. Oh, it was so funny because yesterday he was standing in front of the mirror, tapping on his belly. Now Chris is a twig, like he's rail thin. His belly would be equivalent to maybe a small portion of my cheek. And I looked at him like, "Don't you dare do that in front of me." And he looked down like he was like shy. He's like, I'm like, "Don't you dare do that in front of me." Because I almost want to take bits of myself and just smush it onto him. I'm like, do you know what it would be if I could just take like some of my fat and just spread it onto you? Because his doctor wants him to gain 45 pounds. That's how thin he is. His doctor says, I want you to gain 45 pounds. He cannot gain weight no matter what he does, no matter how much he eats. And he's also very strong. Like he's muscular and stuff like that, but he can't gain the weight. So it's not an excuse. It's insanely hard for some people to lose weight, if not impossible. Some people just don't get it, and that's okay. But I like to say, be careful what you say, God. It's not an excuse. We'll give a taste of your own medicine. 100% weight loss is hard. My sister-in-law used to call me fat all the time. Now she's struggling horribly with her weight. And that's what's going to happen. And like I said, we talk about this as well. The number one thing that people come into this live, if it's not the atheism, it's my weight. Which is funny because I have a thick, I literally have thick skin. But when I do this sort of live, I have to have a powerful, confident persona. Because if I really took everything so personally, then literally, without, I would be in a crisis. You know what I mean? Judgmental people usually have never had to struggle. That's true. I mean, I have a friend who's he's a martial artist, and he's been that way his whole life. He's rail thin, and he instantly condemns anybody who's fat. He will say how you guys are lazy, you don't put the hard work in it, you don't do this. Well, that's just it. Yes. You know something? At one point, I was very lazy. At one point, I refused to do the hard work. But because I abused and punished my body for so long, now that I have to try to recover and heal and separate my food addictions, that's where it's going to be hard. It's so much easier for somebody who's never been fat to get into a routine to diet, exercise, compared to somebody who is so fat that they can't even walk around the block without having an asthma attack. And it's a very, very interesting thing. Yes, I'll put the blame upon myself. I allowed myself to get that bad. I allowed myself to go well beyond. And you could say, of course, I'm making excuses. But you know something? I am making excuses because I make an excuse that my mental health was never there. The support system was never there. The cycle of abuse that I allowed myself to go through was a constant factor. So, all these factors adding to the thing prevented me from doing the very thing that I should have done. And I think that's why it's so important now how joyful and happy and how important my journey is right now. Because, like I said, it's not just a spiritual thing. I call these lives, this is my spiritual thirst, that I'm thirsty for the Bible, thirsty for God. But that's what I'm doing. I am fixing my mind, my body, and my spirit. That to me is my trinity that I'm focusing on for my life as I become more in tune with God. Um, okay, let me keep going. Okay, so judgmental never had that struggle. Who gives it about your weight? I'm going through freaking perimenopause now and it's horrible. You know something, Mandy? I think I am too. Um, I probably already went through menopause. I don't know. It's still up in the air. That's another thing that they're trying to figure out because whatever. It's I have a whole bunch of issues going on. Nicole's like, girl, I'm right there with you too. It sucks ass. I was diagnosed with perimenopause at 29. That was 7 years ago. My change is being felt, but I trust God regardless of what my situation looks like. I'm actually in Texas. The accent is from New York because I was born and raised in New York, but right now I'm in Texas. Well, couple announcements, guys. So today's show is episode 95. So we have, oh, you love my accent. And it's funny, the Brooklynese will come out when I get very angry or overly excited. So yes, I know I always have an accent. Or when my mom visits. That's the funniest thing. They say when my mom visits me and I start talking to her, the accent just gets so thick. My grandmother is cancer-free patient. All the glory. Amen, Andres. I'm so glad about that. Um, but yeah, the accent does come out. So today happens to be the 95th show. And I called this episode, what did I call this? Life lessons. Because I knew this was going to be all over the place. So let me write that down that today was life lessons. And I think we came up with quite a number of lessons. But you know what this show is all about. We are on Samuel 10. Now, I want to start off with a prayer. And then, oh, you have to go. Not a problem. But I appreciate you being here, Mandy. Be sure to follow because, like I said, I'm on every day. I'm going to be on every day. I haven't been on this week, but I'm definitely going to be on every day. I do want to start off with a prayer. And then I wanted to show not one, but two things. Because the first thing I've been doing, which I want to get back to it, is the 365 positive self talk. And then I got a new thing from a thrift store. So I want to open this baby up and check this out too. People ask me all the time, Where do you get your accent from? Oh, so where is your accent from? They think you're Southern? Are you? I don't know where you're from, Nicole. But it can be interesting because depending upon different parts of the North, can also have a Southern twang to it as well. So, yeah. Or Midwestern. I don't know. Oh, thank you so much, Mandy. I appreciate the heart puff. That's so cute. Thank you. All right, so let's start off with the prayer. I think a prayer is very important. And like I said, during my prayer time, I open it. If you pray to anything in particular, or if you pray to any specific God, that is your choice. I'm going to pray to Jesus, to the Heavenly Father, to the Lord. That's what my belief is. And I'm going to extend the prayer to everyone. If you don't believe in anything, then at least, you know something, take this time to reflect and self reflect about what the very thing is that makes you happy. That's what's important. So let's start off with a prayer. So, dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for allowing me this chance to come back today. I have been separated from this life for over a week, but through your glory and your strength, you have allowed me to gain health and happiness to come back and to be part of this wonderful community. I pray that everybody here is able to talk, discuss, and have an open dialogue that we may come together in your belief. I pray that you give us wisdom and understanding as I read your words, that we may understand exactly what the intention was of what you've written through the Bible. I pray if there's anybody out there that needs some help and guidance or just needs a little answers, that you shield them and protect them and allow them your grace and glory. In Jesus' name, amen. So I really, really appreciate that, guys. And I am going to Rexy. While I love that you share the live, okay, it does get a little. I think this is something that they do interesting. They come in and they share the live, and I don't know why they do that. I think they do it just so that they can disrupt the live. Is that why is that accurate or is that not accurate? I'm not too sure. But there'll be people that'll come in that'll just constantly share, 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 share. And I'm curious if they're doing it just to disrupt since everybody's going to say share, or are they doing it because they're legitimately sharing? I don't know. I really don't. So, okay. So unfortunately, Rexy gets blocked for now. If they want, they can contact. I don't know. They'll contact me. Whatever. That's fine. So I was at a thrift store. I love going thrift store shopping. Hey, I'm a reseller. You can see all the boxes. They're like, oh, you're a thief. Um, I found this, and what this is, it's inspiration from God's words to embrace your most emotional. And it says, "Read me when," and they're color coded. So there's difference. So read you when you're happy, thankful, angry, anxious, lonely, or sad. They're color coded Bible verses. Now this is going to be the first time I'm opening them up. I obviously never read. You could see they're all. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to randomly go in here and pick one, and we're going to see what it says. And I think I want to do this every day. So today, let's see if there's any inspiration on what this says. Now, yellow happens to be, oh, this is a happy one. So let's see what it says. It says, rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God. For this is God's will for you in Christ in Jesus. And that's in 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18. I share your life because I love your show, just sharing with close friends, which is fine. And I hope I'm not doing the bad thing. Like with Rexy just kept sharing, sharing, sharing. So I'm actually going to unblock Rexy. But I don't know why that happens when somebody comes in and shares it. I find it very, very disrupting because what they end up doing is they're causing where nobody could comment and no one could say anything. So I really don't know if that's the case or not. And I could be wrong. So I'm hoping I'm not doing a bad thing by blocking them. I really don't. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. The next thing I want to read, and I'm going to read this. This is the 365 days. We are on day 10. Day 10, which is on 219. I obviously went out of order because the last time we did this was on 212. So, yeah, it's been a week since I've been here. So, this says, the moment I begin to doubt, I think about the best outcome. The moment I fear, I feel the real strength I have within me. The moment I think I'm not enough, I remember that I'm not alone. With my faith and my undying belief, I am greater than anything that could come against me. Now, obviously, this is written in a non religious perspective, but just think about how powerful that could be when you put it in terms of God. The moment I began to doubt, I look towards God. I think about the best outcome that God could provide for me. The moment I fear, I turn to God. I feel the strength that I have within me because God gives it to me. At the moment I think I'm not enough, I remember that I'm not alone because God is always with me. With my faith and my undying belief in God, I am greater than anything that could come against me. I mean, and that's why I read this because it's literally from my perspective, and people could say that I'm crazy. I'm starting to see how religion, well, I should say religion, how my belief, how my faith is everywhere. It's not just in it's not just in the Bible. It's everywhere. It's the miracles that are all around us. It's everything that we can see and touch and feel, and it's everything. So, so that's my little. Oh, Susan, Nicole's like, I love that, and welcome to the show, Susan. All right, so I will admit it's been a week, so I sort of forgot where I lay every feeling and circumstance before God. It's helped me so much. You started doing that 37 days ago. Well, you know something, Nicole? You are now past the habit forming phase. You have reached the point 37 days that it becomes natural to you. It becomes an everyday thing. It becomes something that you are seeking to do. So keep going. Even though you may say, oh, 37 days is not a lot, the fact that you did it for 37 days is amazing. Keep it up. That's great. So now I'm on chapter 10. So Samuel is the first book of Kings. Now I find it interesting because in the House of David on Prime, which we're up to season 2, they just started talking about this. Like we were just getting into Saul and the. So it's funny that where I am in the Bible is where I'm visually seeing it. Well, I'm a little further along, but it's just interesting that this is the part of the Bible that I'm up to. It's so true. It's now a lifestyle. Absolutely. Uh, so we're on chapter 10, and Samuel was talking to Saul because they're now proclaiming Saul to be the first king. But remember, Saul is now the first king, not with the approval of the Lord. And that's very important. Now, I obviously know based on the house of David what's going to happen with Saul, but the Lord didn't approve because the Lord prophesies that if these people want a king, they could appoint a king, but there's going to be consequences to appointing that king. So we're in chapter 10. He just bid Saul where he's going to anoint him, but let's see. Then Samuel took a vial of oil and poured it upon his head and kissed him and said, is it not because the Lord had anointed thee to be captain over his inheritance? So the he that he's talking about is Saul. So Samuel is basically anointing Saul to become the next king. When thou art departed from me this day, thou shalt find 2 men by Rachel's sepulchre in the border of Benjamin at Zelzah. And they will say unto thee, the asses which thou wentst to seek are found. And lo, thy father had left the care of the asses and sorrow for you, saying, what shall I do for my son? Then shall you go forward from there, and thou shalt come to the plain of Tabor. And there shall meet 3 men going up to God to Bethel, one carrying 3 kids, and another carrying 3 loaves of bread, and another one carrying a bottle of wine. Okay, so this is a prophecy that is extremely exact. I mean, this is something that's not going to be a generalized thing. Like, it's not saying, oh, you are going to pass a man who's wearing a jacket. No, this is precise. You're going to pass 3 men. One is going to be carrying children. One is going to be carrying bread. I mean, this is very, very precise. So it's signs that are going to be blaring obvious to him, not things that could be convoluted saying, well, that may be it or it might not be it. No, this is going to be pretty exact. Another one carrying a bottle of wine. And they will salute thee and give thee 2 loaves of bread, which thou received from their hands. After that shall come down the hill of God, where it's the garrison of the Philistines. And shall come to pass, when that thou hast come there, this city, thou shalt meet a company of prophets coming down from the high place with psaltery, and a tabret, and a pipe, and a harp before them, and they shall prophesy. Okay, so all right, I don't know what these are, so let me look this up real quick. All right, so what is a psaltery and a tabret? Okay. Okay, a psaltery is a string instrument. I would have never gotten that. Okay. Psaltery is a string instrument mentioned in the Bible. It's often associated with worship and praise. It's similar to the harp or the lyre and was used in uh, very religious things. A tabret, on the other hand, is an ancient instrument that resembles a small drum. Okay, so basically they're going with music. So I had no idea what the tabetry and a psaltery is. So from the high place with a like harp and a drum and a pipe before them, they shall prophesy. And the Spirit of the Lord will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shall be turned into another man. Now, we're starting to see the Spirit of the Lord coming rather than the Lord Himself. And I think that's very important because if you remember, with the children of Israel, with the Ark of the Covenant, with the tabernacle, excuse me, the Lord actually visited them. The Lord was there. But now we don't have the ark. We don't have, instead, the Spirit of the Lord is coming to visit, which once again makes me think, and please forgive me, was the ark some sort of portal or communication device, particularly when you had the 2 cherubs and the mercy seat, because the Lord would sit upon the mercy seat of this tabernacle. So, whatever it is, maybe it was a portal which allowed the Lord to physically be there and sit upon it, that he can talk to them. Dare I say, hologram, 3D image, a recording device. I mean, you get what I'm trying to say. Not that I'm trying to diminish the power, but obviously this is something that was created so that the Lord can be there with them. And now that the ark is not technically with them, the Lord is not visiting them. Instead, the Lord is visiting them in either spirit form or in hearing form. He's not actually there in front of them. So that's just something to think about. The Spirit of the Lord will come upon thee, and thou shalt prophesy with them, and shall be turned into another man. And let it be, when these signs come into thee, that thou do on occasion serve thee, for God is with thee. And thou shalt go down before me to Gilgal, and behold, I will come down unto thee to offer burnt offerings and sacrifices of peace offerings. 7 days thou tarry till down to thee, and show thee what I shall do. All right, so this is all prophecy. Lots and lots of prophecy happening. So he's going to meet the men walking. He's going to meet the instrument, and the Spirit of the Lord is going to come down. And so it was then that he turned his back from Samuel, God gave him another heart, and all those signs came to pass that day. When they came hither to the hill, behold, a company of prophets met him, and the Spirit of God came upon him, and he prophesied among them. And it came to pass, when all that he knew beforehand saw, behold, he prophesied among the prophets. Then the people said one another, what is it that shall come to pass unto the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? And one of the same place answered and said, but who is their father? Therefore it became a proverb, is Saul among the prophets? And when he had made an end of prophesying, he came to the high place. And Saul's uncle said unto him and to his servant, whither went ye? And he said, to seek the asses. And when we saw that they were nowhere, we came to Samuel. And Saul's uncle said, tell me, I pray thee, what Samuel said unto you. He waved his hand, and the wall opened. Harry Potter and his friends walked through it. Welcome, JQ. JQ, you're still walking on thin line here, so be careful. Okay, so Saul is not a prophet. So that became like a saying for them. Is Saul among the prophets? And the answer is no, because from my understanding, based on the house of David, Saul is going to become a bad king. Like he's an evil king. And we're just being introduced to him right now. So Saul said to his uncle, he told us plainly that the asses were found, but of the matter of the kingdom, wherefore Samuel spoke, he told them not. Okay, so he wouldn't tell them what was being said. And Samuel called the people together unto the Lord to Mitzvah, and said unto the children of Israel, thus said the Lord God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt, and delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all kingdoms, and all of them that oppressed you. Oh, I got to pause here for a second. I just got to pause. I found something yesterday, the other day at the thrift store, and I wanted to share it. I forgot to share it. I should have did before, but now that we're talking about the children of Israel, I wanted to share. Welcome, brother. Just listen. Okay, and exactly. Saul is going to lose the kingdom because he did what priests can do. I prayed for you this morning. God again clearly didn't listen. I asked him not to be blocked, but we didn't block you yet, JQ. That's what I said. Just walk a thin line. I want to share this with you. I thought this was interesting. When I picked this up, I do lens scanning. Originally, Google Lens said this was the 12 Chinese zodiac signs, but then I started doing more research on it. It turns out these are the 12 tribes of Israel. So and this is straight from Israel. I just want to point this out. So these are the symbols of the 12 tribes of Israel, and it happens to be a bookend. It's only one of them, but I thought it would be interesting because it is made out of brass. It is quite heavy, and it does say made in Israel by Dayagi. So this is an Israeli brass bookend, but I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, that's the symbol of the 12 tribes of Israel. So I just thought that was a cute little aside thing. Yeah, I'm selling that thing. So it's something I picked up. Whenever I see something interesting, I pick it up. Kind of a false idol. You know something, you could say it's a false idol, but you know something, people buy things and people like it. So I sell things, somebody's going to buy that. Its configuration looks like the Urim. I don't know what the Urim is. What is an Urim? Urim refers to a government office, personal name, or framework, depending on. I don't think that's what Urim means. Oh wait, Urim is a rare name given in Hebrew, meaning light or illumination. It's related to in biblical Urim. It symbolizes wisdom, spiritual guidance, brightness. Variations such as Ori, Oron, Urim. It means little pale green one or princess healer in different cultures. The mighty dollar drives faith. It does. No, from the well, that's what I'm looking at. So it means light or illumination. That makes more sense because I'm like, wait, Orm is the Office of Risk Management. Yes. It's a personal name associated with light, guidance, and wisdom of Hebrew origin. Okay, that makes more sense. Look at what Israel and the users did to the people of Gaza. Why would you buy such a thing? Because people will buy it, JQ. That's why. That should be an answer of itself. See, JQ is one of the perfect examples of people who come in just to disrupt the lives. I don't know why I keep you, JQ, but you know something? You're walking a thin line. There you are. All right, let's go back. And he said, and I'm reading First Samuel chapter 10, verse 18. And said unto the children of Israel, thus said the Lord God of Israel, I brought up Israel out of Egypt and delivered you out of the hand of Egyptians and out of the hand of all the kingdoms, and that I and those I oppressed you. Um, yeah, I do sell, Nicole. That's why you see all the boxes behind me. I'm a reseller, so that's how I run my business. I do an online business, and basically what I do is I buy things and I flip it. So that's when people are like, "Oh, you don't have a job." Oh, you know, yes, I do. I own my own business, and you know something, I enjoy doing it. I used to have a thrift store, so a lot of this stuff is like leftover. But what I do is I'll go to thrift stores. I'll find things that I can flip for some good money. I mean, I'll be honest, stuff like that will sell. People like things like that. So the real truth offends you. That's why you insult me. Haters are gonna. Well, that's what it is. Exactly right. Misery. And you know something, JQ? You crossed the line. I'm done with you. I'm done. I, I can't. I just can't today. It's been, you know what it is. It's been a week. I haven't been online for over a week. JQ comes in, and certain people who come in do disrupt the, which is okay. But you know something, they disrupt it respectfully. JQ comes in just to find fault in everything, and then gets so angry that I block him that he keeps coming back. And you know something, that, well, no, I don't block. I mute him, and he keeps coming back time and time and time again. And I say to JQ because I find it interesting. He is a psychologist. At least that's what he said. That he does therapy sessions. So I would almost want to say he needs to reflect upon himself in a therapeutic manner as to why it's so important for him to come in and disrupt the live. I really, ah, so, God bless you, brother. Reach out to God, seek his face. He will find you right where you are. Thank you. Sarah, welcome to the show. Issues, hello, issues. And I mean, that's what it is. I am feeling much better. I had quite a health scare, but I feel much better and I'm here. So that's a good thing. But yes, so I just find it interesting, even if he legitimately says he's a therapist. As a therapist, this would be time to truly use his own therapeutic teachings and reflect upon. Because if somebody is blocking, even though that somebody gives a chance, I give a chance every single time, and every single time, so quick to point out what's wrong with me, what's wrong with my morals, what's wrong with the show. And I almost want to say, why look at the negativity of everything? Why not focus on the positivity? So that's why, JQ, if you're still listening, that is why you are blocked. Okay, anyway, we are on. I really think JQ is craving attention, not sure how to get the right attention. Absolutely. God straightens your heart and purifies your spirit. Your body is God temple, his vessels. We are. Absolutely. I agree. And welcome to the show, Panini. Thank you. Sounds like absolutely. And yes, welcome everybody. I am on First Samuel chapter 10, verse 19, if anybody's following where we are. You are no different from anyone else. We have positive and negative. And that's true, Fallon. There are positive and negative. And I think that was the one factor that I've always said that I was missing. And I realized it now because I've always said I open my table up to anybody who wants to share, even if the views are opposite. But the one thing that I was forgetting is the reciprocal nature, is that the person, even if they have different points of view and different contexts, if they are sitting here and sharing their differences, then it shouldn't be about disruption. It shouldn't be about I'm better than you. It shouldn't be about condemnation or judgments or anything negative. Because you could sit down and basically say to me, Melanie, I do not agree with you. I think this is wrong. My belief is this, and that would be perfectly fine. But for somebody to say, well, look at your morals, look at this, are you going to block me? To me, that's not a healthy form of conversation. Um, you are better than most. There are some that don't even touch the Bible. That's true, Panini. There are, and you know something, I find it interesting because I think there's a great many people who go to church that have never read the Bible. This is a new journey for me, so I'm just starting this off. I mean, I used to go to church and I would learn from church. Now I'm actually reading what it says. He says, "Open your hearts, he'll renew your mind and purify your soul inside and out." We're all here to, and yes, Fallon, I want to highlight that comment. We are all here to learn from each other. I think that's the biggest thing because I say this as well. You guys are my teachers. You really are. When I start going through my rant that says, oh, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this, it could be any one of those things. Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. I didn't realize you could actually fit it. She meant it. Thank you. Um, I think we all, yeah, we can make comments on everyone. We all learn from each other. And I think that's the key is learning. Yes. And you teach me a lot. That's what I mean, you give your all give yourselves credit as well. I'm learning just as much from you guys. It really is. I'm breathless though. I'm out of breath. Sorry guys. No, I'm much better, but like I said, it's been a week since I've been here. So at least the swelling went down and my pain level has gone down. That was the biggest thing that was tough for me is that like I said, I couldn't even move. Like my joints were like curled up and stuff like that. I you know what it was, Sarah? I slept a lot. In fact, I slept way too much at some point, and I even felt guilty about that. And even Chris is like, he's like, if you need to, he saw it. He's like, you're swollen, you're in pain. I mean, even me moving, I had trouble moving in some because the only way I could describe it was that my nerves felt like they were being microwaved, and the doctor said neuropathy, but aside from neuropathy, I also had intense swelling. You couldn't even, I mean, you could barely see my neck to begin with, but this area was so swollen that I didn't even have this neck ridge. Like my whole face was nothing but a round watermelon, and this arm swelled up twice the size of this arm. So you can't see it now because the swelling went down, but lifting this up, like my wrist was so swollen. So it was bad. And when they took blood tests and stuff like that, everything pointed to some sort of autoimmune, which I have to go to a specialist for that. But they couldn't, they can't pinpoint what it is. So they were able to handle my blood pressure because, of course, and I said this to them going to the, I said to him when I was in the hospital, I says, you guys are going to treat me for blood pressure. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here for the swelling. I'm here for the. They take my blood pressure. That's immediately what they were treating me for. They're like, we got to get your blood pressure down. We can't release you until we get your blood pressure down. So, of course, they give me all the medicine for that. But it's, I laugh at them. I'm like, I could come in for anything, but the moment I step in the hospital, I get the panic and anxiety that my blood pressure goes up, and then they won't release me because my blood pressure is too high. But that's yes. But thank you. I'm doing much better. This is my first day. And I even said, I'm like, I'm thirsty for the Lord. I'm thirsty for the Bible. I want to read it. Yeah. All right. So Samuel chapter 10, verse 19. If anybody's following, that's where we are. Okay. So ye have this day rejected your God, who himself saved you out of all your adversities and your tribulations. And ye have said unto him, Nay, be set a king over us. Now therefore present yourself before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands. Okay, so we're starting to see the change with the Lord as well. Because originally, every time the Lord got angry, he would kill everybody. He would just go on a murderous rampage. But now we're starting to see that the Lord is, for lack of better terms, changing his morals, opening his mindset, changing his attitude. Because now the first thing, which I thought was so pivotal back in Judges 11:31 and Judges 10:14, where he's like, fine, you want to go serve another God, go serve another God. In this example, they don't want him to be king. They want to elect a king. And at first, the Lord was angry with them. So the prophesizing of the Lord is saying, okay, fine, you want a king? Well, this king is going to treat you like garbage. This king is going to be bad to you. This king is going to take advantage of you. So the Lord already knows what's going to happen. He knows that Saul is not going to be a good king for these people, and he's going to be a detriment to the people. But that's what he's doing. He's changing his mindset, and he says, you have rejected your God who himself saved you out of all your adversaries and your tribulations. And you said unto him, Nay, set a king over us. Now therefore present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and by your thousands. And when Samuel had caused all the tribes in Israel to come near, the tribe of Benjamin was taken. When he cursed the tribe of Benjamin to come near their families, the family of Matri was taken, and Saul the son of Kish was taken. And when they sought him, he could not be found. Oh, he took them away permanently? I don't know. Therefore they inquired of the Lord further, if the man should not come here. And the Lord answered, Behold, he had hid himself among the stuff. And they ran and fetched him thence. And when he stood among the people, he was higher than any of the people from his shoulders upward. So he was a giant, he was tall. If he's higher than any, that would mean anybody's heads. Or was he, because he did say he was going to come back a different man. So by taking Saul and replacing him, Saul is now a different man who, even in height, hello, Francis. Thank you so much. Good morning. I am feeling much better. I appreciate that. So now, even in height, so not only is Saul's attitude different, his height is different. So my question is it still Saul, or did he replace him with somebody else? Because it even said earlier, you will be a new man. And now Saul is coming back taller. And Samuel said unto the people, See ye whom the Lord had chosen, and there is none like him among all the people. And all the people shouted and said, God save the king. Then Samuel took the people in the manner of the kingdom and wrote it in the book and laid it before the Lord. And Samuel sent all his people away, every man to his house. And Saul went home to Gibeah, and there went him a band of men whose hearts God had touched. But the children of Belial said, How shall this man save us? And they despised him and brought him no presents, but held his peace. Okay, so that's interesting. And this is a very, very valid question. So now, did God replace Saul with a Nephilim? That's question, or a fallen angel. I mean, that's question number one. Because obviously Saul now became taller than the rest. Like, not only did he change in attitude, he now changed in height as well. Because originally he was of average height, but now, being that God took him away, and then when he brought him back, he is now the head, his shoulders, he is higher than any of the people from his shoulders upward. So that means everybody's heads are below him. He's taller than everybody. So he's about what, 2 foot taller than everything? So he's a giant now. Or is it more of a metaphoric thing? The Bible does say that God, the head, and we are the body. Well, okay, good point, metaphorically. So is Saul's head then part of God and Saul's body is his? I mean, it's an interesting thing because God took him away. The Bible says David slayed 5 different giants in his lifetime. But we know that there's giants. So the giants were the Nephilim, and they were the byproducts of the fallen angels. But in this case, Saul was changed because he even said, I will change you into a new man. So now, by Saul coming back, he's now much taller. Not only is he much taller, he's going to be evil as well. I think he's talking about the intelligence or wisdom from God. It's a good question. It's some kind of, exactly, is it some kind of modification? So we can look at it at a literal sense or we can look at it at a metaphorical sense. So the literal sense is he completely came back modified. God took him, he disappeared for a little bit. When he comes back, he's taller, he's stronger, he has an attitude, and he's going to fulfill the prophecy that God has said where he's not going to be a good king. We haven't gotten to the bad deeds yet, but God already prophesies that whoever is going to be king is not going to be good for the people. So that's literal. Metaphorically, it could be okay. The one thing that Nicole mentioned is all right, if God is the head, we are the body, then God is in control. That's why he's taller. We can look at it as metaphorically more of a placement thing that now he is king. He's going to be above all. That's why it's an image of being taller, not actually being taller. Or metaphorically, it could be some sort of meaning of greatness. There is this one thing I learned about 20 years ago where God can modify the mind and the body, which that's why I said, so this can be taken literally or metaphorically. It's interesting, however, I have a problem where I usually take things literally, even when they're talking metaphorically. So I look at the different aspects. But obviously, from this point on, God took him away and put him back in as a different man. Are we literally that he completely is a different man? Or is it more metaphorically that he took him away, he came back, got some sort of wisdom, got some sort of guidance, and that's where he's having a change of heart? Who knows? All right, chapter 11. Then Nahash and Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh and Nahash made a covenant with them, and we serve thee. Nahash and Ammonite answered them, on this condition I will make a covenant with you, that I may thrust out all of your right eyes and lay it for reproach upon all of Israel. And the elders said of Jabesh said unto him, give us 7 days respite, that we may send messengers to all the coasts of Israel. And then, if there be no man to save us, we will come out. So wait a minute, hold on. He will make a covenant with them if they will thrust out their right eyes and lay it for. It mortified me and 3 other people to know it's difficult to articulate. Oh no, you don't sound crazy. No, Fallon, you're making a good point. I mean, we have to look at the Bible in 2 ways. You got to look at it from a true fact that in here is magic and miracles and things we can't explain. Or you got to look at it as like, okay, through the magic, through the miracles, through the wonders, there's actually a point and a story and a lesson to be learned. So you got to weigh the choices. Is what we reading really, really actually literally happening? Or is it a parable and a story that you need to extrapolate what they're talking about to understand the moral. And either way, you could still look at it from two points of view and believe in the Bible wholeheartedly. It's just what makes more sense. Hello, Buying Space. I just saw you come in. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. I was too busy on I was on Google that I didn't see the chat. So welcome to the show. So those are the two things that we need to look at is, do we literally take this that every single action in this book is actually happening and they're witnessing it before its eyes, or it's a collection of parables, which we know it's parables, that says, okay, here's the story, get the lesson from the story, get the message that's trying to say. Let me go back. Whoops, sorry. Outwardly impressive, Israel wanted a king who looked stronger and leader-like, which would make sense to have a taller person. So if this is the first king and he's now going to be king over Israel for the very first time because they didn't have a king, then yes, they want him to be taller and stronger, which would make sense why from the shoulder up he overpowers and overtowers everyone. Yes, they really. Okay, Buying Space says they really gouged the eyes out. All right, so we are going to get to the eyes gouging. A Jewish man taught me this thing that changes perceptive consciousness and chemical changes in the body. It is physical. Contrast later, Saul's physical stature contrasts with his later spiritual struggles. Interesting. Okay, I think I got everything. All right, so Buying Space says they're going to gouge the eyes out. But I think that's funny. So, in order to create a covenant, you're actually now blinding the people. Let's see what happens. So, then the messengers to Gibeath of Saul told the tidings in the ears of the people. And all the people lifted their voices and wept. Behold, Saul came after the herd out of the field, and Saul said, what aileth the people that they weep? And they told them the tidings of the men of Jabesh. And the Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard those tidings, and his anger was kindled greater. Okay, so now I do have a question. Because remember, God is coming back in the form of the Spirit. He's not actually coming. All right, Rexy, I gave you a chance. We're not giving Rexy a chance. Sorry, Rexy. Okay. God is coming back in the form of spirit. He's not physically being there because as of right now, they don't have the Ark of the Covenant. That's why it makes me wonder if the Ark of the Covenant is actually some sort of portal communication device, something that allows God to be actually there among the people, where now only the Spirit of God is coming in. So now the Spirit of God is coming upon Saul. My question is, if God is against Saul, why is the Spirit of God coming into him? Why is he getting the support from God? So my question is, if Saul is going to be such a bad person and the Lord is angry with people for choosing a king, why is he still intervening and coming in? So now let's just analyze this. So one, is the Spirit of God something completely different? So, in other words, is the Spirit of God that they're talking about a different spirit that's evil? That's question number one. Is the Spirit of God actually God's Spirit, but it's more of a monitor thing? It's like, fine, I've already told you to prophesy, I already told you what's going to happen. I'm still going to monitor the situation and come into play to tell the people that I'm still among you, even though you chose this guy as your king instead of choosing me as your king. That's theory number two. Theory number three, like I said, is the Spirit is part of the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We're getting a part of the Spirit that's coming to visit as opposed to God himself. So there's different ways to look at this. Fallon says good point. I don't know what the answer is, but I like to look at things differently. But it means that God is still interacting with these people, but now he's interacting through the king himself as opposed to the people in general. So let's see what happens. The Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard those tidings, and his anger was kindled greatly. He took the yoke of an oxen and hewed them in pieces and sent them throughout all the coast of Israel by the hands of messengers, saying, "Whosoever come forth after Saul and after Samuel shall be done unto his oxen." And fear of the Lord fell upon the people, and they came out with one consent. The word for of can be translated from. So you mean Spirit of God is Spirit from God? Buying Space says Saul had a purpose for a season. He was placeholder for David. David had to go through what he did to be leader that he was. God is the potter, we are the clay. Which, like I said, I just started watching House of David. I shouldn't say started watching. We're on season 2 already. So it's interesting how I got this story visually even before I read it, because we're on part 2 where David's now becoming king. Season 1 was the whole David and Goliath story with Saul, and then season 2 now is where he's transitioning to become king. So, all right. We're on chapter 11, verse 8. And when he numbered them in Bezek, the children of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah were 30,000. And they came unto the messengers that came. Thus he said unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, Tomorrow by that time the sun will be hot, ye shall have help. And the messengers came and showed it to the men of Jabesh, and they were glad. Okay, so you said the true word of can be translated as form, meaning belonging to. So the Spirit of God is belonging to or from God, which most people say that's the Holy Spirit. But some people, in the sense when an angel of the Lord comes in, they usually think that the angel of the Lord was actually Jesus. I don't know if they consider the Spirit of God to be a Christophany, to be Jesus, or to be just the Holy Spirit. Therefore the men of Jabesh said, Tomorrow we will come out unto you, and ye shall do with us what seems good to you. And it was so on the morrow that Saul put the people in 3 companies. They came into the midst of the host of the early morning watch, and they slew the Ammonites in the morning watch, and slew the Ammonites until the heat of the day. And it came to pass that they which remained were scattered, so that 2 of them were not left together. Have you watched the One Night with the King? It's free on YouTube. It's the story. No, I have not. It's on YouTube. One Night. Let me write that down. One Night with the King. Yeah, I was watching The Chosen, but Chris has already seen The Chosen. So we made the agreement that I'll watch Chosen on my own, but we're watching the story of David together. And I guess he's on like this Bible kick because he just, in order to watch season 2, we had to sign up for this app or something through Prime, and we're on a trial. So now he's like, oh, there's all these religious. So I think we're gonna go through like all these biblical religious movies or something like that. But it got me saved, and it's a beautiful movie. Okay, then I'll definitely take a look at that. I might suggest it if it's on YouTube. It's the story of Esther. Then I'll suggest it to him tonight because he likes watching movies. It's hard. It's hard for me sometimes to watch movies, but he's getting tired of the normal everyday movies, and like I said, he really got into the House of David. In fact, I'm watching it too. I thought it was good too. Yes, Angel Studios app is awesome as well. I don't know if this is Angel Studios though. It was something through Prime. It was like an add-on through Prime that we had to do. Soul on Fire on Netflix. It's an amazing movie and true story. Okay, I'll write that one down as well. Soul on Fire. I know this is going to sound weird because we were talking about fake fakeness and hypocrisies among Christians earlier, which I don't want to just blame Christians. But I find it amazing because, like, even Chris watches so many movies. I mean, I can't believe the amount of movies, and it's very hard to find a movie. And he almost finds it interesting because he walked away from watching and listening to Christian music. Like, and I guess he did that thinking I wouldn't like it. And I says, why wouldn't I like it? If they're good movies, if it's an interesting story, let's watch it. And he was like, really? I says, yeah, put on House of David. Because he was like so scared about me watching House of David. I'm like, why? I'm like, let's watch it. And I have to say, it's a really good storyline. It brings you in. The acting is great. It's a good story. So yeah, I mean, if there's something that's a good movie, I'm open to it. Oh, so you did watch the House of David? Yeah, I thought it was a great story. So I still want to finish watching The Chosen. I'm on season 4 now, which I think there's 5 seasons, or I'm on the last season and they haven't did the fifth season yet. But that like I said, I have to watch it in small because it's very hard for me to stay focused on a movie. I've heard there's a great kids movie called The Son of David. Okay, is it a cartoon when you say kids movie? Yeah, we haven't gotten past watching anime versions of animated versions. I lost my pen. There it is. Yeah. Oh, it is animated. Okay, I was just curious. Something like that, I would probably watch with the kids when they get here. See, that's another thing is trying to watch movies. I mean, the kids are older, but it gets it gets funny when we watch a regular movie and maybe something inappropriate comes in, and Chris gets like all like, and I says, Chris, come on, his son is 19, his daughter is going to be 16, 15. So I'm like, Chris, they if something's going to be a little bad, they know about it. It's not like they're but he does get like embarrassed when so we try to make sure that whatever movie we watch doesn't necessarily have the sex, the violence, this and that. So but if it happens, it happens. I mean, like me, I mean, I don't care if it comes on. He just gets he's like, we can't watch it with the kids, we can't. So I guess that's good parenting or that's guilt. I don't know. Because they even said, I'm like, it really bothers you. I mean, it's no big deal. It's going to be on for like maybe 20 seconds and that's it. Oh, you've learned to keep the remote in your hand. I tease because it's like, if they were young, like 6, 7 years old, I would understand. But like I said, one is 15, the other one is 19. They're old enough that they know what's going to happen. And they're old enough that they've seen it done. Like, no, I haven't done it, but you know what I mean? They've seen it. They know what's going on. But if it's a little kid, like I don't know, like 5, 6 year old, like mommy, daddy, what's that? No, 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 no. Skip, skip, skip. Oh, I forgot what the last movie. I've been trying to introduce them to older movies and like movies they've never heard because obviously they see so many. And I was actually surprised at one of the movies I suggested, they really, really liked and they cracked up laughing. And it's a stupid movie. It's a Danny DeVito movie called Throw Mama Off the Train. And I said to them, I said, and they looked at me and they're like, Throw Mama. I'm like, you're going to like this movie. Throw Mama Off the Train. And which they enjoyed it. Because I said, when I was a kid, I just remember all the time Owen screaming at his mom. I'm like, oh, man. So by the end of the movie, the kids are screaming Owen, which was kind of funny. Like, but yeah, the last movie we ended up seeing, it was funny, but there was parts of it that I thought was stupid. It was it was the Tyler Perry movie about the kid going to college. I can't even think of the name of the movie, but it's on Netflix. It was one of the Medea movies. So but Medea was a small character. It was based on the son and the grandson are going off to college. So that was the last movie we saw with the kids. Road trip. That's what it's college road trip or something like that. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I'm like, all right, whatever. There was some funny parts to it. There was also some not so funny parts to it, but yeah. But before that, oh, you watched it the other night too. I watched it too with the kids. But the one that they liked, like I said, was Throw Mama Off the Train, and that movie is old. I mean, that was back in the '80s, I think, with like I said, with Danny DeVito, Billy Crystal, a couple other famous people, and just funny movie. All right, where was I? I don't even remember where I was. Were we on chapter 12? I think we were on chapter 12. We were on chapter 12. You love the Medea. I've seen a couple of them. I don't even know how many Medea movies there are out there. I mean, I think there's a bunch of them now, but they're funny. I think it was funny when they had the scene with the grandmother, the grandpa, and then the son. And the fact is, each of those is Tyler Perry playing the same role. I mean, it's the same actor. And I made mention of that. And like the daughter was like, those are the same. I said, yeah, all three of them are the same actor. And they're like, well, how do they do that? I said, don't you notice how they keep going from back and forth? You never see them in the same frame. And not only do you never see them in the same frame, it's also like, so they record them doing the one, record doing the other, and then they put it all together. Oh, thank you, Angel. I appreciate that. Oh, you thought Medea's Christmas was very good? I didn't see that one. Yeah, like I said, I've seen a couple of them, but I haven't seen all of them. I know now they do the Tyler Perry channel that you can literally watch all his movies and all his because he has series twos and stuff like that. But I guess he's like the production or something like that. But yeah, we ended up seeing that the other night. So I always look for different movies. So Alicia with stars in that one, I really like her. So One Night with the King and what was it? Uh, Soul on Fire. I couldn't read my story, my writing. So Soul on Fire and One Night with the King are the two movies I'm going to look for the next movie night. All right. What time is it? It is 11:30. Okay. I'm going to probably do chapter 12 and I might end it after chapter 12 simply because I still have errands I need to do. But I'm so glad. Like I feel 100% better. So I'm thankful that I'm actually here once again. I will be back tomorrow, but I need a couple of days off. I really did. All right, so chapter 12, we're reading 1 Samuel verse 12, chapter 12. Samuel said unto all of Israel, behold, I have hearkened unto your voice in all that ye said unto me, and I have made a king over you. And now behold, the king walked before you, and I am old and gray headed, and behold, my sons are with you, and I have walked before you from my child unto this day. Behold, here I am, witness against me before the Lord. Oops, hold on. Sorry. God's word is medicine. I love it. It absolutely is. I totally agree with that. It's like I said, I feel thirsty for this. And it's making me feel better that I'm here, but I also have to realize my own limitations, so I don't want to push myself too far. So that's why I says I'll read chapter 12 and I'll probably end it here. Behold, I am witness against me before the Lord and before his anointed, whose ox I have taken, or whose ass I've taken, or whom I've defrauded, whom have oppressed, or of who have I received any bribe to blind my eyes, and I will restore it to you. Okay, so wait. Samuel is saying that. Okay, so I guess he's explaining to them. He's like, look, I haven't taken a bribe. I haven't taken any I am giving you Saul as the king. So I guess he's trying to justify his choice in Saul. I think that's what he's trying to say. I've walked you from my childhood unto this day. And they said, Thou hast not defrauded us, nor oppressed us, neither hast thou taken aught of any man's hand. And he said unto them, The Lord is witnessed against you, and his anointed is witness this day, that ye have found aught in my hand. And they answered, He is witness. Okay, so I guess this is Samuel trying to say, I'm not I'm not the one that took any bribes, or the Lord witnesses, like he's anointed. So I guess he's trying to separate responsibility and blame. Is that what it sounds like? Or Samuel said unto his people, It is the Lord that advanced Moses and Aaron, and that brought your fathers up out of the land of Egypt. Now therefore stand still, that I may reason with you before the Lord of all the righteous acts of the Lord which ye did to you and your fathers. When Jacob was come out of Egypt, and your fathers cried unto the Lord, then the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, which brought forth your fathers out of Egypt, and made them dwell into this place. And when they forgot the Lord their God, he sold them at the hand of Sisera, captain of the host of Hazor, and into the hand of Philistines, and into the hand of the king of Moab. And they fought again. Okay, so I guess this is more of a warning. He's warning them because they chose the king over the Lord. So I guess he's just reminding them, look at what the Lord did. They cried out unto the Lord and said, We have sinned because we have forsaken the Lord and have served Balaam and Ashtaroth. But now deliver us out of the hand of our enemies, and we will serve thee. And the Lord sent Jeroboam and Belden and Jephthah and Samuel, and delivered you out of the hands of your enemies on every side, and ye dwell safe. And when ye saw Nahash, the king of children of Ammon, come out against you, ye said unto him, Nay, but a king shall reign over us, when the Lord your God was your king. Okay, so so he's condemning them. He's trying to remind them, it's like, look, you keep wanting a king. The Lord has always been your king. So he's reminding them that this is their choice. Now, therefore, behold the king whom ye have chosen, and whom ye have desired. And behold, the Lord had set the king above you. If ye fear the Lord, and serve him, and obey his voice, and not rebelled against the commandments of the Lord, then ye shall both ye and also the king reigneth over you. Continue following the Lord your God. Okay, so he's like, look, you guys wanted a king. The Lord now granted you a king, but continue following the Lord. But if ye will not obey the voice of the Lord, and rebel against the commandments of the Lord, then shall the hand of the Lord be against you, as it was against your fathers. Now therefore stand and see this great thing, which the Lord will do before your eyes. It is not wheat harvest today. I will call unto the Lord, and he shall send thunder and rain, that ye may perceive and see your wickedness is great, which ye have done in the sight of the Lord, in asking you for a king. Oh, Nicole, we're doing Samuel chapter 12, verse 18. So Samuel 12, 18. And like I said, we're probably going to stop on chapter 12. So Samuel called unto the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day. And all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. And all the people said unto Samuel, Pray thy servants unto the Lord thy God, that we die not. For we have added unto all of our sins this evil, to ask for a king. And Samuel said unto these people, Fear not, ye have done all this wickedness, yet turn not aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart. So he's telling them the way out. Not the way out, but he's like, look, you've chose a king. Just remember, the Lord is still your king. Keep your heart to your Lord. You now have a king that resides over you, but make sure you keep serving the Lord. Turn not aside, for then shall ye go up in vain things, which cannot profit nor deliver, for they are in vain. For the Lord will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it had pleased the Lord to make you his people. Moreover, as for me, God forbid that I sin against the Lord in ceasing to pray for you. But I will teach you that the good are the right way. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider how great things he had done for you. But if ye still do wickedly, ye shall be consumed, both ye and your king. That's actually a really good line if you think about it. Like, obviously, he's talking to the children of Israel, but this line can be taken for everyone. Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart, for considering how great things he has done for you. I like that line. That's a good line. All right, so that's First Samuel. I'm going to write that down. 12, 24. Only fear the Lord. Serve him in truth with all your heart. Consider how great things he has done for you. You know why that means so much to me? Because we take for granted all the good things in our life. It's so easy to focus on the bad things that happen to us, which will diminish the good things in our life. And if we can focus on all the good things, that will help ease the pain of the bad things that happen. It reminds me that we have to continue to live in sin. Without repentance, we will have trouble. Oh, that when we continue, absolutely. And that's why he's giving a warning. It's like, follow the Lord. Remember the Lord. You wanted a king. I mean, in asking for a king, you went against the Lord, but the Lord gave you a king and he's giving you exactly what he wants. But in order to be in good favor, you need to keep serving the king and serving the Lord and doing his commandments and doing. Don't get lost in the fact that the Lord is not there because he is there. And I like that line, like I said, serve him in truth with all your heart, for consider how great things he has done for you. I think that's what people forget is we forget the wonderful things that God does in our life, the good things. And I think that's an interesting thing when we talk to people who are non believers and people who are atheists, where they'll instantly say, oh, well, God wasn't the reason for this. The Lord wasn't the reason for this. The reason for this was my own doing or whatever. And I almost feel like that there's a piece missing when you talk to non believers. There's that little piece of hope or happiness or spark, or I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just blinded and I'm trying to see something that's not there. I don't know. But I see that all the time when people talk about gratitude of the things they have. Because inherently, we are people who are never satisfied with the things we have. We always want more. I feel like it's a reminder to keep God first place in our lives. He wants our gratitude, not just us to ask his hand. Absolutely. Whoops, I think I invited somebody, so hopefully they don't come in. We as humans get so involved with what's going on around us, which we do. We get so involved with what's going on around us that we forget the things that have meaning, that have purpose, that have connections. And I don't know, it's interesting. So, what's going to happen, guys, is I am going to end this here. Tomorrow is going to be our 96 show, which, yes, I will be here tomorrow. So, episode 96, we're going to do chapter 12. I'm sorry, chapter 13. Chapter 13 of Samuel. Right? Where's the chapter 12? Yeah. I don't know. I got confused. We're doing chapter 13. I paused and got confused. But first, I want to thank everybody for being here. Um, like I said, I'm so glad that I was able to come back. I got to take a little, I got to take it a little slow because I can't go full 110% speed. So I'm glad that I was able to come in, that I was able to talk to everybody, keep you guys posted at what's happening. Um, and God bless you, girl. Have a great evening with. Thank you so much, Nicole. Yes, I'm definitely Chris will be well. He doesn't get home till 5 o'clock, but I'm glad that I'm spending time. Hey, we had our Valentine's Day together, which was cute. Yeah, I know. I wasn't here for Valentine's Day, but uh, I love that man. I really do. Get some rest. I am gonna get some rest. I could feel, like I said, I could feel myself getting tired. So I think this is a good spot to end here. But I want to thank everybody. Have a great day. I will be back tomorrow. Lots of love, and I'm gonna just say this. I'm so grateful for everybody who comes in, who interacts, who teaches me, and it's a joy. It really is. So, guys, have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow, and take care. Oh, take care, guys. Have a good one. Thank you.